NEET has been a contentious issue in Tamil Nadu for many years now, and subsequent governments have been opposed to it as they felt that it doesn't offer an even keel for students who study in Tamil medium. However, the clamour for NEET has not lessened over the years, and this year alone, 1,40,158 students from Tamil Nadu registered to write the exams. However, there is yet another controversy brewing in Tamil Nadu, and which has to do with NEET, but on the process, as it were, and has created confusion amongst candidates, teachers and counsellors. It happened like this. Minutes before the results for 2025, which were declared on 14th of June, the final answer key released by the National Testing Agency or NTA gave two answers as options for multi-choice questions, one being in physics and the other in chemistry. The NTA, which has been in the eye of the storm in the past year and over several issues, and which conducted the entrance cum eligibility test for MBBS BDS admissions on 4th of May, released a provisional key for the question paper a month later with two answers for one question in chemistry. As objections were raised by some candidates, NTA added one more question in physics with two answers and said that students who opted for any of these two answers for these two questions would be awarded 4 marks each. Now, objections to this process were raised on the basis that NTA cannot give multiple answers to multiple choice questions in competitive negative marking exams. The reason being that students lose 5 marks if they pick the wrong one, or lose 4 marks if they skipped it. Very confusing, isn't it? We have an expert on the show today, and according to him, it upsets both rankings as well as results in delays in admissions. It may be recalled that in 2024, the Supreme Court sought the expertise of IIT Delhi to solve a physics question on atomic theory, for which the agency awarded marks to 2 correct answers. In the aftermath of which, ranks were revised once the IIT panel confirmed that only one answer was the correct response, but then this had created immense heartburn and difficulties, impacting the ranking of over 4 lakh students. Yes, you heard it right. 4 lakh students' rankings were impacted. What are the options left now for both the NT and the students over the latest controversy? Let's welcome the expert on the show without any delay. Manikyavel Arumugam, who's a NEET counsellor, has now joined us on this debate. Manikyavel, may I call you Manikyavel if it's okay with you?
Call me Manik.
Manik, welcome to the show. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show. Just decode this for the benefit of the students, the parents, and of course, many of them who are watching this show. They are very keen because there is a precedence in 2024 and now it has happened yet again, Manik.
Okay, first of all, we need to understand that NEET is a multiple choice or MCQ type of exam with single right answer or single best answer. So you cannot have multiple answers for a single question, right? By the design itself, the exam is supposed to have only one answer for a question. And if there are multiple answers, it leads to ambiguity, it leads to confusion. And particularly since this exam is an exam with a negative marking, good students, when they know the answer, when they are confused, that could be multiple right answers, they may skip the question, worrying that they will get a negative mark. They don't want negative mark when they are targeting like very good scores. They might negative marking. Whereas on the other hand, some candidates who are not good at the exam randomly select an answer for a question. Now they have a better probability of getting it right, because now they have a 50% chance, because 2 out of 4 options are right now. So they have a 50-50 chance. So now the exam for these 2 questions is favoring more towards candidates with lesser knowledge than candidates with more knowledge. So probably that's the bigger drawback here. In a multiple choice question with a single answer, finally, the exam should also have a single answer, not multiple answers.
The thing is that, yeah, please go ahead, Manik. You were going to say something.
And particularly, I want to quote this issue, as you rightly mentioned. This was already brought up. A similar issue came up in 2024 in front of the Honorable Supreme Court. And I just want to quote what the Supreme Court has said that in that verdict.
Sure.
If prima facie a question is considered ambiguous, such a question should be deleted. And they also have emphasized that the need for clarity and precision in competitive examinations to maintain fairness and transparency. So I don't know why NTA is going back to this confusion when the Supreme Court has very clearly said that there should be a fairness in the questions and the answers. So I don't know whether NTA feels that this question is no ambiguity, but the answers there is ambiguity. When you have multiple answers, I take it as an ambiguous question, and it should be either deleted.
Yeah, so it sounds so tough. So please correct me if I'm wrong. My colleague said this is how it works. Normally, only one correct answer is allowed per question. If students pick the wrong answer, they lose marks. So when there are two correct options, it confuses students. They may pick one and worry that it's wrong, skip the question and lose marks, pick the wrong one and lose marks. And does it also go against NEET rules where one question is equal to one correct answer, Manik?
Okay, unfortunately, the NEET prospectus covers these kind of debacles. They know that such problems might appear. So the prospectus already covers these kind of like mistakes, right? If I have multiple answers, this is what I am going to do, right? So in fact, by prospectus, what they have done is right. But whether the prospectus itself is correct or not is a thing that has to be debated.
Right. So, Manik, why did the NTA do this for physics and chemistry? Is there some particular reason? Because like you and I know, when this happened when in November 2024, correct me if I'm wrong, when the Supreme Court, no, July, I think it spoke in July.
August,
July 23rd August is when this news broke. I remember doing this.
Correct.
So tell me, what is the compulsion on the part of the National Testing Agency to do such a thing? Manik.
I'm really perplexed. I'm really surprised and shocked. Such a trustworthy organization which is conducting all the major entrance exams in India, they cannot get 180 questions correct without any ambiguity. So they had all the entire 6 months to 9 months to prepare a perfect set of questions, get it reviewed with experts, right? That's what happens, right? It's not just one expert sets the question. The question goes through multiple reviews by multiple experts before it comes to the real exam. And if everybody has reviewed it, and finally when a few candidates or some coaching institutes challenge the answer key, and suddenly NTA changes their approach and then say, no, the other option may also be right, it puts a lot of question on what the kind of like question preparation or the answer review has happened before the exam.
Manik, last time when it happened, 4 lakh students' ranking was impacted, and that is a big deal. It may not seem like a big deal when you look at the collective number of students who sit for the NEET exam, but 4 lakh, and I'm talking about the individual heartburn, you know, disappointment in students, even that much. It is so competitive. How is it going to impact the students this time around? The same thing, Manik, the same thing will happen this time also, no?
In fact, this time what happened, fortunately or unfortunately, the students who did not get the marks, they didn't feel the pinch because when the question has been revised, it's more about some of the candidates got a bonus of like 4 marks when the other option was added. So many candidates were happy because they got additional 4 or 5 marks, whereas nobody lost marks because of this revision. So probably people did not understand what is the impact of this compared to what happened last year. So probably this impact was not well understood. That's why probably it has not become such a big issue currently. But if you look at the rankings, many of them might have lost rankings because someone else got 4 marks or 5 marks more than what I am getting, right? So if somebody gets a 5 marks more than me, probably is jumping in rankings ahead of me by like 1,000 ranks or 10,000 ranks. I don't know exactly how to look at the ranking, but certainly they are marching ahead of me just because of these additional scores.
Which is such a loss, considering that, you know, maybe that person who's jumped ahead of you by 10,000 gets into a government college and I'm left behind or you are left behind, you know, coughing up lakhs and lakhs of money to get into a private college, Manik.
Absolutely, right? 1 mark is all it makes a division between whether you enter into a government college where you spend less than 1 lakh to you are spending 25 lakhs, right? So things changes.
You know, Manik, this is not the first time NTA has been in the eye of the storm about its process, about the way it conducts itself, the process itself. We've seen a lot of hullabaloo over it. It's once again done this, breaking what the Honorable Supreme Court said in 2024. What are the options now in front of the NTA? Because you're talking about it, I'm talking about it, several other students might talking about it. What is the option before the National Testing Agency now, Manik?
But it's probably, I don't know what NTA is thinking. Probably NTA will not do anything, in my opinion, because they have released the final results. I don't think they are going to touch on it unless some court cases come up and then probably the court nudges them to relook at it. I don't think NTA is going to do anything as of now, because if they are going to touch it again, it's going to completely revise all the rankings. They have to release a revised ranking. So I don't see NTA touching on it unless the court pushes them to do it.